Welcome everybody to another round of World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name as always is Maxwell, and today's first video is from the user Dead Wizard. That's Dead Wizard, and he's driving the IS-6 on an encounter battle on Winter Himmelsdorf. IS-6 being a tier 8 premium heavy tank for the Russians. Just looks like someone's been an ass clown in the background there, firing off some early shots. But anyway, Dead Wizard going to be straight away heading up towards the hill. Going to try and take this area here. Lets the two Hellcats crest the hill and go hull down there, while himself looks like he's going to try and swing around the back of the castle here. Maybe try and catch somebody unawares and catch them from behind. Normally you find that the tank destroyers like to overlook this area here, so we can catch one of them by surprise when they are not expecting someone to be here. Especially when you don't expect to find a pretty big heavy tank in this area. As you may have noticed by the teams, only two tier 8s on either side, meaning that these guys are pretty much going to be king in these fights here, and especially with one of the enemy's tier 8s being up on the hill here and looking in the wrong direction, catches a big shell in his rear. And now the enemy team is caught between a rock and a hard place, as their allies from the hill have had to back off, being forced down here, and they can't go forwards because of the sheer weight of numbers from the allied team. And this is just going to be an absolute rout here, as the allies just close in around everybody. Dead Wizard picks up his first kill now, and that is the hill won convincingly. Although you've got to wonder, the enemy team didn't really commit that many forces to the hill. So, oh, and here is the T-28 prototype, which means both of the enemy tier 8s are going to be caught out in the open here. Although the T-28 prototype is a bit of a beast. Scores one kill there. And the rest of the team going to try and flank around him here and take this guy out as quickly as possible. But absolutely nothing to do with the T-28 is quick. So as I was saying, the enemy team didn't commit very many forces to the hill, which leaves you to wonder where exactly they are. The second contingent of allied forces are at the very southern tip of the train line there, and you can see there is a couple of enemy tanks assaulting. They've got the 3001 and the T-20 there, but that's going to be nowhere near enough tanks to take out the amount that the allies have in that area. So it really leaves you to wonder where the rest of the team is. Perhaps they are all sniping from the train shed, or perhaps they are all scattered around amongst the town itself. But anyway, as it is, the allied team Pain Train going to be coming in here and trying to do some serious work on the unprotected rear and flank of the enemy force. Find a Hellcat over by the train cars here. Try to take a shot at him, but he was a little bit too quick. Finds an AT-8. He's only one shot from death. Takes that one shot, and that is him out of this game. Now try and charge down this Hellcat here, as he's a pretty big risk. Got a decent cannon on that thing, although the armor of the IS-6 proving just a little bit too tough. Hellcat tries to make a run for it, but he's not quite quick enough. Probably should have continued on through the train shed itself rather than try to come out and run around. Had his gun damaged here, so long-range sniping is not going to be possible right now. But it looks like most of the enemy team, after dealing with the forces in the south, have swung back north now and going to be looking up this direction. Dead Wizard uses his repair kit to fix his gun now, as he's thinking that sniping is going to be an issue. Going to try and do what he can to try and take out some of these tanks, but it looks like the rest of his team is dropping like flies here. The enemy team doing a fantastic job of evening things up now. Going to try and take a shot at this Jagdpanther as he runs away. Does indeed get a hit on him and sets him on fire, and he doesn't have a fire extinguisher. So a perfect storm of idiocy there means he's able to take out that Jagdpanther. A little bit of a shame he missed a shot on that KV-1S there. But he's got a little bit of time. The allied team closing in around the enemy. Not quite able to take out that KV-1S in a single shot there. I think it probably would have been too high a roll to ask for. But I don't think that KV-1S realises that he can be seen from where he is, and he gets taken out. And that almost levels the score at 10-11 now. The enemy team still going for this base capture, but not really much else they can... Well, I was going to say not much else they can do, but they've got the numerical advantage by 2 at the moment. So they really could go on the offensive. Oh, nice shot to take out that T20 and reset the cap again. But as you can see, they've only got this IS-KV-1 and they are being flanked on both sides at the moment. That Hellcat in the north. The moment... Oh, very nice ammo rack. At the moment that Hellcat's being held off by the KV-1 and the IS, I would have thought. But any minute now, Dead Wizard is going to have to pay some attention to that direction. As you see, he's still got his front armor pointed there as he had the columns of the train shed to shield his rear armor and just keeping his front armor pointed this way in case that Hellcat comes into attack. But it looks like the Hellcat is going to play cleanup duty and takes out that KV-1. And now it's just Dead Wizard himself versus 3 enemy tanks. On the plus side, though, he's got full hit points. And just angles himself again in a reverse side-scraping position, I would have said that was. Keeping his rear armor protected by the building and then setting up in a side-scraping position. This Hellcat had nowhere to go, so he's trying to tuck himself in next to the entrance of the train shed there. But didn't have his gun on target, so there was no way he was going to be able to do anything there. And he just gets himself taken out for free. Didn't even get to return a shot at the IS-6 of Dead Wizard here. And that just leaves the IS and the VK-3001D to try and take out Dead Wizard here. Not looking like it's going to be a very easy task, especially considering that 3001 has 5 hit points left, so just a strong breeze is going to take him out. And this IS not looking much better. Normally I would have said a tier 7 versus a tier 8. It's not a matchup that I would have liked to have taken, but the IS does have that pretty nice cannon, so if he plays it nicely, he might be able to get some damage on this IS-6. Oh, but as it is, the IS-6 has just hit him in the face twice there, and he is really, really suffering in this one. It looks like Dead Wizard's just got a couple of easy pickoffs to make. Finally takes some damage. First bit of damage he's taken all match, so that just leaves him against this 3001. Knows that he's got more than enough hit points, and it doesn't really matter if he takes a shot. Just lets his gun focus in, takes out the 3001D, and that is GG and the victory for 5,500 points of damage and 11 kills there. So absolutely awesome replay from Dead Wizard showing off his skills in the IS-6. Don't forget to stick around because, as always, the score screens and another game are coming right up. And our second replay of the day is from the user New Jack Red. That is New Jack Red, and he's driving the E75 on a standard battle on the Tundra. E75 being a tier 9 heavy tank for the Germans. And if it's not my most favourite tank in World of Tanks, then it's almost certainly top 3. This thing is an absolute beast when it's fully upgraded. When it's got that upgraded turret, upgraded gun, upgraded engine. This thing is just an absolutely supreme machine here. So you can see New Jack going to be heading over to the right-hand flank, going to take to the hill with his allies. Now, although he's only got the IS-8 and that 1375 as backup, the rest of his tank destroyers taking up their usual position on the ridge overlooking the area. Can't really blame them for that, as that is what the tank destroyers do. But the fact they've got 2 of the tier 9 heavy tanks here does bode pretty well for them. The IS-8's got a pretty nice cannon on it. And the E75 also has a pretty nice cannon, but also has some pretty nice armor as well to go along with it. Spots out an Awful Panther and a IS-6 here on the hill. Neither of those two really going to prove much of a threat. In fact, the Awful Panther just decides to leave, which is probably the best decision he's going to make today. Gets his track taken out. Just uses his repair kit dead quick on that one. Doesn't want to stay out in the open any longer than he has to, as they've almost certainly got tank destroyers camping on their opposite ridge, just like the allies have here. So doesn't want to take any unnecessary damage. Trying to get a shot on this IS-6 here. Thinks that he's probably got a strong enough turret just to be able to take the hit, which indeed he has, and he's able to get a good bit of damage back on that IS-6 for none in return. And he's going to set himself up here and just steal the spot that the IS-8 had, because he can probably make better use of it, to be honest. IS-3 having a shot there, but just rushed it a little bit. And now New Jack just going to wait, focus his gun in, and doesn't want to have a shot at the drive wheel of that IS-6 there, just because that probably wouldn't get any damage. Knows that there's a T-32 over there, so he's just waiting to see if he pokes himself out. And if he does, he'll be able to have a good shot at him. As it is, though, it looks like that T-32 is just staying well hidden on that right-hand side. In fact, to be honest, it looks like everybody's just staying well hidden. Stall tactics from the enemy team, but to be honest, with the strength that they're getting pushed on that left-hand side, probably can't afford to stall like this. IS-8 looks like it takes a big hit from that T-30 camped across the way there. Although that T-30 does take a artillery shell to the head as he fades away here. New Jack just deciding that enough is enough, and he's going to come in and get a shot on this T-32. Goes for the commander's hatch on the turret just to be sure that he gets the damage. Angles himself very nicely against this IS-3. IS-3 has a shot at the super angled side armor for some reason, and it obviously doesn't do any damage. This tank is a supreme side scraper. I think the T-32 is actually focusing on the 1375 for some reason. Has a shot at the E-75 of New Jack here and just misses that one. One more good shot from New Jack. Should be able to take out this T-32. So lets his gun reload and then takes him out, and that's kill number 1. Looks like that T-30's actually moved up from the ridge now. As probably didn't really appreciate getting hit in the head with that artillery shell earlier. IS-3 comes and valiantly takes a hit for his T-30 ally there. Probably totally accidentally, but still. Looks like the IS-8 has been taken out now. It kind of just leaves New Jack all by himself on this hill. So he's going to have to play this one carefully. He decides to focus his attention on the T-30, as he couldn't really get a shot on the IS-3 as he backed off. T-30 coming forward, gets a good hit onto New Jack here. Doesn't do that much damage though. And New Jack just continuing to fall back. And doing what we were talking about the other day when we were talking about the no-win scenario. And in fact, the T-30 gets himself taken out by the 1375. So these 3 heavy tanks have pushed over on the ridge, smelling blood and thinking that they've got this one in the bag, just because they're taking out that IS-8. But as it is, the 2 allies here, the AMX 1375 and New Jack in the E-75, just able to back off strategically and work them down. And in fact, what has indeed transpired is that they have lost the battle. A little bit of a mistake there from New Jack, just overshooting the target, but brings it back around, takes him out, and picks up kill number 3. So now going to move down over onto the enemy side of the map. Sees that there is a Chi-Ri in the valley there. Was dueling with a Jagdtiger 88, but he gets himself taken out. Finds a T-28 here. Not quite able to put a shot through the front of the T-28 because that thing's armor is pretty troll. So I'm going to have to try and a little bit harder to pick out the weak spots of this thing. But indeed, I'm not really sure. Oh, very nice piece of angling there just to bounce the M103 shot. Almost certainly accidentally. But it's always nice to start turning your tank as a shot comes in. And it just misses and bounces there. Gets a fantastic shot on the weak spot of the T-28 there. And like I said, I don't think the T-28's cannon is going to be strong enough to penetrate. That Chi-Ri is definitely not going to be able to penetrate very easily at all. One more shot on this T-28 if he gets a nice high roll. And indeed he does, and he's able to take him out, and that is kill number 4. Not really going to have to worry about this Chi-Ri, because I don't even think the Chi-Ri can damage the side armor of the C-75, but he does have to be aware that the M103 is sneaking around the side of him. Gets a great snapshot on that Chi-Ri then, picks him off. And now this M103 is flanking around, probably going to be looking at trying to get shots on that Tiger 2, and New Jack going to decide whether to take the front entrance or the rear entrance. Deciding that the M103 is... Oh, here he comes. So, New Jack going to take the front entrance here. And it looks like the Allied team, even though they had more forces on that left-hand flank as well, it looks like they've actually lost that duel there. So, a little bit unfortunate for them. New Jack hasn't really taken very much damage, so he can afford to take some hits from this M103. And indeed, M103 just rushing his shot a little bit there and bouncing on the nicely sloped armor of New Jack. He comes in for the ram, but I don't think he realizes how much the E75 weighs, and indeed just does 200 and a bit damage to himself. Maybe just wanting to take out his track, but to be honest, not really a very good play from this M103. He was able to get a shot in on the rear, and New Jack's already used his repair kit. Opts to angle his armor a little bit nicer rather than turning his rear to face the M103, as that would have gotten his gun on target but risked taking a little bit more damage. But as it was, that Tiger II was able to finish him off. And then we're just going to speed this one up a little bit, as the E75 not known for climbing hills. Finds the enemy's artillery here, although I don't think anybody's really available to have a shot on him. So New Jack and the Tiger, I think, fire at the same time, and New Jack picks up the kill. Now there is this IS-8 covering the base. Unfortunately, I don't really think an IS-8 is much of a match for an E75, especially when he fluffs his first shot. And New Jack gets a lovely high roll there, 581 against the IS-8. IS-8 starts to back off, doing the smart thing. Does have a good shot at that Tiger II and takes him out, so whittling down the opponents as he goes. Unfortunately, like I said, he's going to be no real match for an E75. Just covers off his lower plate there, so the IS-8 has no choice but to either shoot the upper plate or the nicely angled side armor. And in fact, this is the only vehicle left for the enemy team, is this IS-8. He backs off, he gets taken out by the 1375, still on the hill across there, and that is GG and the victory. New Jack Red doing an awesome job, picking up 6 kills and 7,500 points of damage. So being absolutely brilliant in the E75 there. So thank you very much for sending that replay in. Don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a good replay, then send that in to replay@screenreality.com. Link for that is in the description. Leave me a like or favourite, and leave me a comment in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video, found it useful and entertaining. And if you're not already, then please consider hitting that subscribe button for more content like this in the future. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.